Jimmy Faluca reporting, solo this time, with an issue that it's not really an issue. It's really an angle that WWE has been doing since 2014 that has spilled over into 2015, and it's an angle that I've given some time to think about, and I would like to address. And that angle being The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. Now let's go back to 2014. How did the angle between The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar start? Brock Lesnar wanted a shot at the WWE Championship because, as it should be, your top guys should be going after the WWE Championship. The goal should be you want to be the WWE Champion. They got that right with Brock Lesnar. That's what he wanted, and he wasn't getting it, so he was willing to no longer wrestle at WrestleMania. And just as Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar were looking to leave the ring, hell's bells went off. The Undertaker comes out, gets in Brock Lesnar's face, and Brock says, all right, you want to try me? That's fine. I'll take your ass on at WrestleMania. And week after week after week, The Undertaker would constantly get the upper hand on Brock Lesnar. And unfortunately, The Undertaker ended up defeated. Something I never thought I'd ever say. The Undertaker lost at WrestleMania. It's not the idea of The Undertaker losing, period, that I can't accept. Because nobody wins all the time. No, I'm not going there. Nobody wins all the time. And I guess Undertaker at WrestleMania is no exception. It was just that I felt The Undertaker's undefeated streak was one of the main things that set him apart from all the other legends. And the reason I say that, I'm not saying that's the only thing, because Undertaker, for whatever anyone wants to say, you'll never hear anyone say a bad thing about Taker, is one of the all-time greats, and not because of his undefeated streak. That was just the icing on the cake. But it was really damn good icing on that cake of a career that he's had for the last, this November it'll be 25 years. But many people, like myself, look at The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania as a record that should have never been tarnished, should have never been broken, should never be surpassed. Because it's not only a representative of the number, it's a representative of the career that The Undertaker has had since he started in the WWF in 1990, all the way up until where he is now in 2015. And listen, this isn't a real sport. They're in control of what happens at all times, unless someone calls an audible right in the middle of the ring, like the Road Warriors did back in the 80s with Bruiser and Crusher. For those of you kids that don't know what I'm talking about, Bruiser and Crusher were huge in Minnesota in the AWA, and the Road Warriors were badass heels and weren't going to sell anything. And it was supposed to be an even match, and Hawk and Animal went to that ring, promising they wouldn't body slam them, which was basically, back in the day, it was considered a press slam. And they did it, and they didn't sell anything for them. They just whipped their asses. That's basically the talent calling an audible right in the middle of the match. So, like I said, they're basically always in control. The Undertaker streak coming to an end sucked for me as his fan, and sucked for a lot of people. There were grown-ass people fucking crying in New Orleans. And I'm sure that most people use that as an avenue to make fun of them, rather than looking at it for what it is, as The Undertaker meant that much to a lot of people. Because, let's be honest, The Undertaker never gets brought up in that conversation of, the mega stars like Hogan, like Rock, like Austin, that, it is what it is. They were the tippy-top guys. Undertaker was never the tippy-top guy, or as I was about to say, the face of the company. But the fact of the matter is The Undertaker was always the cornerstone of the WWF, WWE, whatever the hell you want to call it, and was just as important as anyone else in that company. The Undertaker, in many ways, was the glue that held things together. He was always, as Shawn Michaels would call him, the voice of reason. And to me, The Undertaker was always a guy that, he, to me, was always a cut above the rest for the simple fact that he always put the business first, even when it meant going against Vince McMahon. That's why, one of the reasons I respect him more than anything. Because he was one of those people that when Brett got screwed, Taker did not come to Raw the next night. He refused He was one of those people, along with Davey Boy Smith, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Owen Hart, and Mick Foley, who refused to come to TV that day because they were pissed. Undertaker was also one of those guys. You never hear stories about him, showing up to events fat and drunk or high. You never hear any stories about the Undertaker trying to play politics and fuck over somebody's career. Undertaker was never like that. And the fact of the matter is, he will go down in history, and rightfully so, as the most respected man in the history of the business. And on that basis alone, I felt he deserved to retire undefeated. And then you have Brock Lesnar. And we'll go from the beginning of his WWE career. He steamrolled through everybody, and he made it look legit. He ran through Ric Flair. He ran through Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He ran through The Rock to capture the Undisputed Championship, which is right over my left shoulder. He even defeated The Undertaker in his signature match, Hell in a Cell, which, for those of you that are watching this right now, if you have the network, get on there and friggin' watch that match. No Mercy 2002, Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker is as good a Hell in a Cell match as you're ever going to see. And Undertaker lost. And it's a match I thoroughly enjoyed from start to finish. The story going into it was Brock Lesnar was trying to ruin The Undertaker's marriage and was trying to drudge up old skeletons in The Undertaker's closet to fuck with him. Because at the previous pay-per-view at Unforgiven, it went to a no contest because neither guy could beat the other. So now, Undertaker, who also suffered a broken hand legitly, they worked that into the angle. The Undertaker had to have a cast because Brock Lesnar crushed his hand with a propane tank. And at the end of the day, just like at WrestleMania 30, Brock reversed the tombstone, hit the F5, and got the 3 count. And Undertaker on SmackDown said, I fought the best, and I've beaten the best, but on Sunday, you were the best. So, no one in the history of the WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it, has put over Brock Lesnar in the manner that The Undertaker has. But in 2002, it was necessary because you were establishing Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was a rookie, but The Undertaker was willing to put him over 100% clean in a Hell in a Cell match. Fast forward, Brock Lesnar left the WWE in 2004 for the NFL to go play with the Vikings. And then that didn't work out, and he went to the UFC, kicked the shit out of Randy Couture, kicked the shit out of Shane Carwin, got his ass kicked by Cain Velasquez, got his ass kicked by Alistair Overeem, came back to the WWE, beat the shit out of John Cena but didn't win, beat the shit out of Triple H, beat him, lost, and then beat him again, beat the shit out of CM Punk in what I consider the greatest match of 2013, much as I love the match between Daniel Bryan and John Cena. CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar can't be topped. In the year 2013, there is not a better match that I saw from any wrestling promotion that matches Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk. The work was good. The story going into it was great. Punk was protected in defeat, as he should have, even though I felt he should have won. Even though I hate CM Punk, Phil Brooks, think he's a prick, I felt he deserved to win. And at the very least, he was protected in defeat. And then Brock Lesnar goes to the Royal Rumble, demolishes the Big Show, walks into WrestleMania 30, and defeats The Undertaker. Unheard of. And kudos to Brock Lesnar. But the directive, and what I personally believe, the reason that they had The Undertaker, and people are going to throw around stories, this isn't something that ever came up in the dirt sheets or any rumors. This is something that I've concocted in my own head. Because the rumors in the dirt sheets are that Undertaker showed up to WrestleMania 30, looked like shit, and Vince just looked at him and said, you're done, you're losing, and that's it. That's not what I believe happened. What I believe happened was Vince McMahon and the powers that be knew they were going to push Roman Reigns a year in advance. And they wanted him to take down Brock Lesnar, who took down The Undertaker, to make Roman Reigns look like the next big top guy. And since the streak was already ended, there was nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. It was over. It's over. It's done. Doesn't take away from the fact The Undertaker has the greatest record in the history of WrestleMania. No one will ever top it. Nobody should, anyway. Just like nobody should break Ric Flair's world title record. 30-year career, 16 world titles, 3 different promotions. That's a legacy that should never be tarnished. I don't give a damn what anyone says. Unless you can find someone for me that is a better champion than Ric Flair, a better in-ring worker than Ric Flair, a better promo than Ric Flair, all rolled up into one, nobody should break that record. Nobody. Nobody. Not Daniel Bryan, not Finn Balor, not anybody. I'm covering a lot of ground here. It isn't personal with one guy who I know is going to break the record. Is he an equal to Ric Flair? No. I don't care if Ric Flair comes on television and endorses it. What do you think he's getting for that endorsement? Open your eyes. Just like The Undertaker. Nobody should become 22-0 at WrestleMania unless they can match The Undertaker all around. Ain't no fucking way no one's matching Undertaker. So nobody should ever match that record. But the main reason they broke the streak, in my opinion, was so that way they could pass the hand to Roman Reigns. Because they were going to have Brock Lesnar break the streak, and then have Brock Lesnar pass the hand to Roman Reigns. That could have worked had they not fucked up Roman Reigns from the moment he came back. Had they not shoved his return down everyone's throats from the second he was put out. You know, unlike, and I'm not trying to hound on him, but unlike Daniel Bryan, when he was out, you didn't hear a peep out of him. When Roman Reigns was injured, you couldn't shut him up. Maybe it wouldn't have been perceived that it was only for him if they would do that for all the top guys when they're out. They only did it for him in 2014. Occasionally, Bryan would be on Raw or a pay-per-view in the pre-show, but you never heard shit. No videos of him training to come back. No videos of him talking to the commentary guys how he's doing. The reason they did that is because they were afraid the fans would forget about him. Because they really don't have a lot of faith in him. That's why they went to the lengths that they did. That's why in the 2015 Royal Rumble, they took every single popular babyface and made them look like shit on purpose. So that way Roman Reigns, in their minds, would look better than everybody else, and it ultimately backfired. So in essence, The Undertaker's undefeated streak being ended amounted to nothing. It amounted to nothing. Because now you have people cheering Brock Lesnar. And I'll explain to you why people are cheering Brock Lesnar. It isn't because, as some of these idiots like to use, smart marks being idiots. No! The reason people are starting to cheer Brock Lesnar is because you continue to put him in the ring with people, the guy that the fans hate. You put anybody in the ring with John Cena, they're going to cheer his opponent. You know, with the way Roman Reigns was booked going into WrestleMania, you could have put anybody in the ring with him, they were going to cheer his opponent. And Brock Lesnar happened to be both of their opponents at that time. That's why you got people cheering for him. Plus, at the end of the day, Brock's a fucking badass. You watch him fuck shit up, it grows hair on your chest. I can't stand Brock Lesnar. Because I don't think he should have ended the streak, even though the rumor is that he pretty much begged Vince not to do it. Doesn't matter. People still hate Bruce Dern for shooting John Wayne in the back in the scene in the Cowboys. Same deal. I respect Brock Lesnar. I think he's a hell of a performer. I think he's a freak fucking athlete. I don't think you'll ever see another guy like Brock Lesnar again. Unless an act of God takes place on this planet. But ultimately, The Undertaker's undefeated streak coming to an end amounted to nothing. And that's something that myself and Larry and Frank were asking, was it worth it? Larry more than both of us. Or more than the three of us. Was it worth it? And my answer is no. Because by ending the Undertaker's streak with the mindset of passing the hand to somebody else, there was no guarantee that that plan was going to work. And I'm sorry, you do not sacrifice The Undertaker for anybody on the main roster under the way the talent is being booked. No. I love Daniel Bryan. I think he's the best wrestler in the world when he's on. You don't sacrifice The Undertaker for him. I love Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor, out of the entire NXT crew, as much as I love Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville and Hideo Itami, I think Finn Balor's the best of the bunch. Do you sacrifice The Undertaker for Finn Balor? No. No. You don't do that. You do not do that. Because there's no guarantee that that's going to work. Because now you can't take back that loss that The Undertaker suffered. And now, the way it's playing out in my head, because I'm trying my best to not read any rumors, but the way it's playing out to me is the Undertaker apparently, you know, isn't supposed to be back until WrestleMania season, and Brock Lesnar's his next opponent, and WrestleMania 32 is supposed to be the Undertaker's last match, because it's in Texas. I can't think of another place where the Undertaker would rather retire. So the Undertaker's going to have his last match with Brock Lesnar. We're going to have Taker Brock Lesnar 3. Why? Why is this match taking place at WrestleMania? It makes no goddamn sense. Why would you waste Brock Lesnar? Not that facing the Undertaker is a waste on anybody, because anyone that faces the Undertaker should be honored, because he's the fucking Undertaker. But why would you waste Brock Lesnar in a match with somebody that he's already faced on a stage like WrestleMania? Because, and this is going to jump into my next part, as far as I'm concerned, Brock Lesnar, and I hate to burst a couple people's bubbles, should not be fighting people he's already faced. No, he shouldn't be facing The Rock. It already happened. What's the difference between now and 2002? The Rock's a bigger movie star? Does that make him a better wrestler? No. Brock Lesnar beat him and in his prime. What reason would I think that The Rock could beat Brock Lesnar now? What, because The Rock has picked up on a new diet, so now he's jacked up, so now I'm supposed to think because he's got big muscles he could beat Brock Lesnar? No, Brock's a professional fighter. He would kill Dwayne Johnson in a fight. Kill him. I don't care how many pounds of weight The Rock can lift. He ain't beating Brock Lesnar in a fight. No, he's not. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar fight Triple H again. I've seen them have 3 matches. I've had my fill. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar fight John Cena again. It's pointless. They fought enough times. It's done. It's a dead issue. Honestly, with the way they booked it at Battleground, why would I want to see Brock Lesnar fight Seth Rollins again? There's no reason. It would just be the same thing with somebody else interfering. And I damn sure don't want to see Brock Lesnar retire The Undertaker. No. The Undertaker basically tapped out at SummerSlam and then had to low blow Brock Lesnar to beat him. Do I want to see The Undertaker retire as a heel? No. Do I want to see The Undertaker retire with people cheering the guy that just killed his career? Because I guarantee he fights Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, Taker's career's on the line, and he's losing. Why the fuck would I want to see that? Undertaker deserves a much better send-off with a much better opponent. Brock Lesnar should be fighting guys he's never fought before, elevating those guys. I don't know, a Cesaro maybe? A Kevin Owens maybe? A Samoa Joe? Guys he's never fought. I'd even take a match with Ryback. I'd take a match with Randy Orton, even though Randy really has nothing to gain from it. If you really think about it. Even though at least it would be a fresh match. That's the only thing I get out of it. And I'm sorry, the only person Undertaker should be fighting is Sting. I'm not going to get into that until the second part. But I conducted a poll on several different wrestling pages that I'm part of on Facebook. And I asked a lot of you guys, who would you like to see Brock Lesnar fight? Who would you like to see The Undertaker fight? And I'm going to grab the 2 names from each list that got the most votes. The people that I saw on the Brock Lesnar lists that popped up a lot was Cesaro, was Kevin Owens, and it was Bray Wyatt. And I'm not going to lie, even The Rock's name was on there. Even though I personally feel The Rock's already fought Brock Lesnar, there really is no issue between the two, and it's not a fresh match. You know, I don't want Brock Lesnar's appearances to be wasted, or his wrestling matches to be wasted on guys he's already fought, because there's no intrigue. But yeah, the main names I saw for Brock Lesnar that you guys that were on the pages that wanted to see him fight is the Cesaros, the Kevin Owens, Bray Wyatt, for whatever reason, came up. I put him down because I'd love to see Bray Wyatt fight Lesnar. I'd think it would be interesting. And The Rock's name came up a lot. That's who you guys would like to see fight Lesnar. That's cool. And Undertaker, it was all over the place for some reason. It was all over the place. The only two names that consistently came up was Sting and Finn Balor. Apparently, a lot of you guys want to see Taker fight Finn Balor. The only way I'd be okay with that match is if I knew Taker would still get to fight Sting afterwards. That's my fear. That once he fights Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32, he's done, he's never going to wrestle again, and we're never going to get that dream match. And now I'm going to answer Travis's question. Because earlier on he was on the page asking, what is this deal between The Undertaker and Sting, and why do people want to see them fight so much? All right. Speaking, Travis, I'm going to try my best to answer it as quickly as I can and as keenly as I can. Speaking as a guy who has The Undertaker and Sting in his top 2 favorites of all time, because I do have a top 5, and their autographs are above my windowsill. In sequential order, number 5 is Daniel Bryan, number 4 is Kurt Angle, number 3 is Macho Man, number 2 is Sting, and number 1 is The Undertaker. Those are my top 5. Undertaker and Sting are my 2 all-time favorites. They're a cut above everybody else as far as I'm concerned. Undertaker portrayed the same character for 25 years, but was able to maintain the interest and the respect of his fans and his peers. Sting was a rookie, but was able to have great matches with Ric Flair on a consistent basis. Was able to have great matches. He would pull great matches out of Lex Luger. Had classics with the Great Muta. Had classics with Vader. Would have these amazing matches for all different types of titles. He won every title you could possibly think of in WCW. And then in '96, the guy reinvented himself. And became one of the most iconic characters I've ever seen in the history of wrestling. You know, how many million people tuned in to see him fight Hollywood Hulk Hogan and take the title from him at Starrcade? Millions. Millions of people. And that's why I go crazy when people try to say, oh, Sting's not a Hall of Famer. Excuse me? He drew millions of people. All he had to do was show up on Nitro and the ratings were spiking. Because they wanted to see him, what he would do. You don't do shit like that unless you're a legend. You don't get attention like that unless you're a legend. But the main reason people want to see Undertaker and Sting fight is because they mirror each other. WWF, their dark hero was The Undertaker, for the most part. He was babyface more than he was heel. And WCW's dark hero from 96 onward was Sting. I mean, personally, I don't think a lot of people think of Surfer Sting against any incarnation of The Undertaker. I've never heard that matchup come up, but people have said they want to see Crow Sting versus Deadman Undertaker because they mirror each other. Sting is the Dark Knight of WCW. Undertaker is the Dark Knight of the WWF. They both are cornerstones of both organizations. Sting is one of the only people that never left WCW for the WWF. Think about this. Every single person in the WCW roster left and went to the WWE, with the exception of Goldberg, because he was never in the WWE, but everybody else was. Everyone else flip-flopped. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash went back several times. Hulk Hogan went back to WCW after he was in the WWF for so long. Same with Macho Man and Roddy Piper. Ric Flair had that big dispute with Jim Herd, went to WWF. They all came and left. Undertaker started in WCW. Actually, no, he got his start in Texas. But his first real TV exposure was as Mean Mark Callis, as a member of the Skyscrapers with Dan Spivey, managed by Teddy Long. Yeah, I did kind of think about his career here and there. But once The Undertaker went to the WWF, he never left. He was never going to turn his back on Vince. After Vince gave him the opportunity he gave him, especially after WCW turned around and told Mark Calloway, you'll never amount to anything in wrestling. Ha ha, boy, do they look stupid now. Because Taker's a deity in wrestling. And as far as the WCW fans go, Sting's a deity to them too. And Sting, for so many years, in so many interviews, has loudly stated, I want The Undertaker. I want to fight The Undertaker. I want a match with The Undertaker. When Sting first came into the WWE, during that Comic-Con convention where he surprised everybody after they revealed his figure, which I actually have up there on my desk, proudly. Tell you right now, they release any more Sting action figures, I'll keep them in the box just like I'm doing that. Because I love Sting. Sting's like I said, he's my second all-time favorite. But and I quote, he said, "Do I regret that the streak was broken with Taker? Absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to go there to WrestleMania. I wanted that streak to stay intact and be able to face him and find out. I really want to know. I don't understand what more you need." And then we take it a step further. Last year, at the SummerSlam panel when they were revealing 2K15, the roster, Stone Cold asked him, "You came to the WWE. What are your plans?" And he said, "Well, my main goal coming to the WWE is to face The Undertaker. I want to face The Undertaker." And then when they asked him if you could face one person at WrestleMania, who would it be? Flat out, he said, "I wouldn't mind having matches with a couple of guys, but if I had to pick one, Undertaker." I mean, and I'm going to take it a step further, and yes, I'm going to beat this poll into the ground because it's evidence. The WWE conducted a poll following WrestleMania 31. Who do you want to see Sting fight next? Seth Rollins received 8% of the vote, but for some reason he's fighting him. Brock Lesnar received 8% of the vote. Bray Wyatt received 8% of the vote. Triple H received, I think it was 13 or 15% of the vote. The Undertaker received 56. 56% of the vote. And people like to say I'm crazy. I'm simply stating the obvious. Undertaker's career should not end until he fights Sting. The WWE wrote a friggin' article, the top 5 opponents Undertaker should face, and yes, Finn Balor is on that list. He's actually choice number 2. But guess who choice number 1 is? Sting. And the first sentence of that paragraph clearly states, and if anyone wants to go online and check it out, I encourage you to, simply put, this match must happen. Clearly somebody on that website's got a fucking brain, but clearly somebody in that fucking office doesn't. Because why are we getting Brock Lesnar Undertaker 3 at WrestleMania 32? Do people in Texas really want to see The Undertaker get beat again by Brock Lesnar? Because that worked so well the last time, right? Yeah, people really enjoyed seeing that. Give me a fucking break. For Christ's sakes, it should not be that hard. It pisses me off that they didn't even do it this year. This year was the perfect time to do it because Taker's soul, if you're going to talk in character, was still in limbo after losing the streak. Sting could have came out after Taker made his first appearance and said, "So you're just going to hang it up after losing one match?" No. You're not done. We got business. And in my mind, and Sean brought this up on the page, or one of the pages, Sean, I think it was Sean Nixon. If I'm mistaken your last name, Sean, please forgive me. I'm sorry. He came up with his own storyline, and I'm going to come up with one on the fly right now. If the pencil, which I don't have one on my desk, unfortunately, otherwise I would hold it up. Well, I have the pen. If I'm the one writing this shit, Undertaker and Brock Lesnar is fighting at Survivor Series at the Undertaker's 25th anniversary. Yeah. I ain't waiting until fucking WrestleMania. I'm getting this match out of the way. Getting it done. Get it fucking done. You tell Brock, don't fucking hurt this fucking guy again. Busted ribs, concussions. Makes me think Hacksaw's right. He is fucking dangerous. Not that I'm excusing Taker's age. It's just, I don't want to fucking jeopardize this guy's health. Again, get in a ring with Brock Lesnar. But the way I would have this end, Undertaker takes a page out of Brock Lesnar's book. Brock Lesnar whips his ass. And Taker passes out in the Kimura lock. And Brock Lesnar wins the feud. Again. Sorry I get worked up, guys. It's just that this shit shouldn't be hard. And I'm not trying to say I could do their job better than them. I'm simply stating the obvious. People want to see Taker and Sting fight. There are a few of you that really don't care to see it. A few of you. But based on that poll, that over 100,000 people voted, majority want to see that fucking match. And if that's the case, WWE's a business, you give them that fucking match. Shouldn't be that hard. It's not rocket surgery or brain science, whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, Taker passes out in the Kimura lock. Brock wins the feud. Blah, blah, blah. Heyman talks it up. We broke the Undertaker's arm. We left him in the middle of the ring in a heap. He's done. Taker comes out whenever you choose to roll him out. And he says, I came back to defeat Brock Lesnar and I failed. And upon that failure, I will build my retirement. I'm done. The second he goes to leave, caw. Sting comes out, face to face with The Undertaker. The WrestleMania sign would be hanging up there, and Sting just glances at the WrestleMania sign, kind of like Taker and Triple H from WrestleMania 27, although the match would not be what that was. But the build would be like that. They wouldn't even have to say a word. Taker acknowledges the WrestleMania sign, shakes his head, leaves. Taker continues to refuse. Sting finally needles him a little bit where he says, fine, don't take the match and prove to the world that I was always better than you. And Sting can turn around and say, you want to know what? For years I was compared to you, and now you're giving those comparisons no justice. And you're giving me and those fans no respect by not doing this. And Taker takes the match, but Taker says, when WrestleMania 32 is over, my career will be over, but so will yours. And you could have either guy win this match. More than likely, WWE is going to have Undertaker win. But I don't care. Hell, if they wanted to fucking fast, if for whatever reason they wanted to do this match at Survivor Series, I wouldn't care. Andrew asked me, do you care where the match takes place? No! I don't care! I don't care where it takes place. I don't care when it takes place. As long as it fucking happens, I'm happy. That's all I want at this point. Daniel Bryan comes back, great. I know they're not going to use him the way the fans want, so that ship has sailed. Dean Ambrose is fucking over like Rover, but they're using him to try to get Reigns over again, so that ship has sailed. Kevin Owens had all the fucking momentum in the world, and then you fed him to the monster, so that ship has sailed. I seen the way WWE books these NXT guys when they come up to the main roster, so I have no interest in seeing Finn Balor come up anytime soon, or at least until Vince and Kevin Dunn are gone, so that ship is fucking sailed for a while. So the only conceivable thing that I want to see out of this company is one match, and the match would only be 10 minutes. Taker, Sting, I don't care where it happens, I don't care when the fuck it happens, as long as it fucking happens, I'm happy. Now Travis, does that give you the enough as to why people want to see it? It's a match people have been fantasizing about for 22 years. Ever since Sting turned Crow, fans have wanted to see him fight The Undertaker. It's come up in so many different discussions. The first time I ever thought of this match was when Sting came down from the ceiling at Uncensored 97 and baseball batted the whole NWO all by himself, laid them all out with a scorpion death drop, including Hollywood Hulk Hogan, who in my opinion is the greatest bad guy in the history of wrestling. Simply because he was so beloved before he turned. Somebody's missing the boat on that. Somebody could do the same fucking thing, reinvent themselves, and, maybe have a set of Spaldings. I guess not. But yeah, ever since I saw that, I wanted to see these two fight. Because I said to myself, okay, Undertaker's the dark hero here, but Sting over here is doing the same thing, just with a different twist. Man, I'd like to take these two guys and see them fight and see who's better than who. And to finish this off, I'm going to leave it with this. WWE missed the boat on Austin and Hogan because of politics. You now have two guys that don't fucking play politics. You have two guys that don't do any nonsense like that. And the fans have clearly said, the night Sting came out after WrestleMania, they asked him, Renee Young asked him, what's in your future? and the fans were fucking chanting Undertaker. What more do you need? Makes me want to Gibbs head slap myself because I want to slap the shit out of whoever's in charge of creative. Set the fucking match. I don't care. You set Cena and Rock a year in advance. You can't do the same for Taker in Texas? Let the fans know well in advance. Guess what? WrestleMania 32 is Taker and Sting. It's the last time you're seeing either one of them. Cha-ching. Take me to the bank. That's fucking money. And people like to turn around and say, certain individuals like to turn around and say, I only like to book ideas that I would want to see, not that they would make any money. This match, I guarantee you, would be a hell of a draw. And people would pay to see it. I would be willing to pay full sale pay-per-view price. I can tell you this right now. If Taker and Sting happens, whenever it happens, if it ever happens, that pay-per-view, I will personally pay for the pay-per-view to make sure it doesn't fucking skip. Because I don't want to miss a second of that match. Or the build-up, or the entrances, or what happens after the match. That's how much that match means to me. And it'll break my heart if it doesn't happen, as a fan. To me, it'll go down as one of the biggest missed opportunities in the history of the business, and there's no excuse because both guys are under contract. There is no excuse to not do this match, other than them just being fucking stupid. Well, that's all I got for you today. If any of you guys on the page have a subject that they want me to dissect, I'll be happy to do it. The next time I do a solo, I'll be dissecting the invasion angle. It'll probably be a two-parter because there's a lot of shit to cover, but I look forward to doing it. It'll probably be next week because I got a lot of shit going on here. But you guys take care, and Travis, hope I answered your question. And hopefully I added some insight to this whole Undertaker Brock Lesnar business. You guys enjoy your week and take care, guys.